Hi, this is Hunter from Timberhill Tennis Club with this week's edition of Quarantennis. I hope you guys are all staying safe at home, and we're really looking forward to the chance to get back out on the tennis court, hopefully in the near future with all of you. Today we're going to do a racket review. In fact, we're going to do a review of a whole line of rackets by Head, which is the Head 360 Speed line. These are new rackets for 2020. You see these being played on the Pro Tour by Novak Djokovic and Coco Gauff, among others. It's a popular racket with top juniors and college players, club players as well. I've been really pleased with this racket. I personally play with the pro version of it, and it's been one of the best rackets I've used, so I can't recommend these enough. What the Head Speed line gives you is it gives you a good balance between flexibility and stability. So the racket does have some flex to it, but it is also a real stable feeling racket. You don't feel like it's a wobbly frame. What you also get is good energy transfer from the racket to the ball. A lot of players will refer to this as pop. If you feel the pop coming off your racket, that's good energy transfer, a nice lively feel coming from your racket. The Speed has that on all their different models. So on each line, Head offers, back here you can see the Extremes, the Instincts, the Radicals, the Prestiges, and the Speeds. On all of Head's lines, there are multiple rackets. So even though this is a white and black racket, this is what it looks like Djokovic and Gauff are using on the court, they have several different models of this racket tailored to different types of game play, and different types of players. So we'll talk a little bit about those. We're going to review 4 of these rackets today that really cover a wide range of player. The first one we'll talk about is the Pro. This is the Head 360 Speed Pro. This is what I personally use. This is the heavier player-oriented racket. It is 100 square inches on the face. It's 23 millimeters across the beam. It's an 18 by 20 string pattern, and it's 10.9 ounces unstrung. It's a really nice weight. That 10.9 ounces is kind of on the heavier side of an intermediate weight, maybe on the lighter side of the heavier weighted rackets. It gives you good swing weight coming through the ball, very stable on contact. The 18 by 20 string pattern disperses the work among the strings. It makes your string life last longer because your strings aren't having to work as hard. The downside to that is you're not generating as much spin, but typically these pro model rackets are generated or geared towards players that are taking a longer, faster swing, developing their own power, creating a lot of their own spin, so you don't really need a lot of help from your racket typically if you're using this. But the Pro model is an excellent racket. If you're in that range where you take a big swing at the ball and you need some control, I would highly recommend this racket. The next step down from this is the Mid Plus. The Mid Plus is 100 square inches as well, just like the Pro. Weighs in slightly lighter at 10.6 ounces. You're looking at also a different string pattern, which is 16 by 19, slightly wider string pattern than the other. You're still looking at a 23 millimeter beam, which is a fairly thin beamed racket, and just like the Pro, it is balanced slightly head light. I think it's 1 inch head light on both of these rackets, and that gives you quite a bit of maneuverability for the weight. So again, with the Mid Plus racket, again, kind of an in-between weight. If you're learning how to develop a harder swing, great racket for you. If you feel like you're on the downside of your career and you're not able to generate quite as much as you wanted to and you need something slightly lighter than the Pro model, this is a good way to go as well. This is the Head 360 Speed Mid Plus. There's 5 or 6 rackets in this line. I'm going to skip over a couple of them. There's a couple that are in between the 10.6 ounce weight and the next weight down. Suffice it to say there's plenty of rackets for everybody. The next one we're going to review is the Head 360 Speed Lite. I love this racket. I've taught with it a lot. I've recommended a lot. We've put a lot of these rackets in the hands of kids that are sort of moving into their first adult racket or their first high technology racket. This racket weighs in at 9.3 ounces. It's still 100 square inches. It's 25 millimeters across the beam, slightly thicker than the Mid Plus and the Pro. Gives you a little more stiffness, a little more power, a little more pop coming off this racket than what you get in those others. The balance on this racket is even. They've drawn the weight back a little bit more towards the handle. This gives you a little bit more maneuverability with the racket. And this is an outstanding racket not only for juniors, but also for players who are finding that they need a little bit more help out of the racket. Maybe you're not able to generate the power that you used to be able to generate. Maybe you're just looking for something lighter, playing more doubles, hitting more volleys. This is a great racket in terms of its maneuverability and ability to get the racket from place to place. So Head 360 Speed Lite. The last racket we're going to cover today is another cool racket, which is the Head 360 Speed Power. Now, the Power series of all the Head rackets are geared towards game improvement. So this is something that's going to give you quite a bit of help with your shots in terms of generating power and generating spin. This racket, much bigger than the other ones, 115 square inches on the face, so you've got a lot of margin for error hitting that ball, but even on the off-center hits, you're looking at something that's going to be really, really stable and comfortable. When you look at the beam, you see a much thicker beam as well. It's a variable beam. It goes from 28 millimeters to 26 up at the top, so that gives you a little bit more stiffness, a little bit more of that pop that we talked about earlier, and it also helps you to generate much more power. The string pattern is still a 16 by 19, but you're looking at having that spread over 115 square inches. So you've got a lot more space in between the strings. That gives you a lot more potential to generate spin than on those other rackets. So this gives you help not only with the power, but with the spin generation as well. The balance of this racket is even, just like the Lite. Again, that produces a real maneuverable racket, great for doubles, great for quick motions. And this is a fantastic racket for players who are finding it hard to generate their own power at all. Also players that have a really short swing. This gives you a little bit of a help with that. I will mention one caveat for a beginning player. I would not put this in the hands of a beginning player just because I feel like it does maybe limit the potential of a player to develop a longer stroke. I would probably go with the Lite for a beginning player. So this is the Head Speed 360 Power. And those are our 4 rackets that we're going to review today. Remember, we can special order anything you want, even through the pandemic here at the club. We'll give you a better deal most of the time than what you can find online, and we've got great customer service. We can refer you to certain strings for different rackets. We're happy to help you experiment with that, and we're also happy to help you with any of your other Tennis Pro Shop needs. We look forward to seeing all of you guys when we're back open. So until then, stay safe and have fun, and we'll see you soon.